All right, guys, we're going to continue on with Lesson 1, Chapter 1. Lesson 1 is, again, about our regions and the geography of the United States. Now, this is a great picture. I love this picture of the United States. It has the different regions. It shows up here where this is the northwest up here. I'm sorry, northeast. Up here, and there's New Jersey, so we're up here on the northeast, and then our northeast, as you can see, we talked about we're going to talk about boundaries, and that boundary line right here, this all turns green. Now, if you look at an actual, the actual area view of a map, you're not going to see orange and purple and green and yellow. You're going to see the land, but these boundary lines are invisible lines that show you where these areas are. So this green over here is the southeast. So orange up here is the northeast. This is the southeast. This is the midwest. This is the southwest. And then this is all the west over here. And as you can see, we have different landforms or different things that you can see that differentiate the regions from each other. So we have the Appalachian Mountains over on the east coast, and we have the Rocky Mountains over on the west coast. We have a couple of different major rivers like the Ohio River, the Mississippi River, and the Missouri River, which all run into here. And the Rio Grande right here cuts off the United States to Mexico. So, and then we also have Alaska over here. So let's we're gonna start reading about these United States regions a little bit more. Regions in the United States. To study the United States, geographers and others divided it into smaller areas called regions. A region is an area in which places share similar characteristics. This map shows the 5 regions in the United States: the Northeast region, the Southeast region, the Midwest region, the Southeast, and the West. These regions are organized based on the locations of the state. In the Northeast region, along the northern coast, there are forests and hills. The soil is also rocky. Further south and west, the soil is good for farming. The Appalachian Mountains run through this region. So really quickly, New Jersey is called the Garden State. That's what we go by. That's what our name is the Garden State. But what I love is what makes it the Garden State is because it has such fertile soil. Now, rocks make it really challenging for us to be able to plant things. So the rocks are pretty much all up here where the Maine and Vermont is. But everywhere else, it's really, really known for their crops and for growing, especially New Jersey. So keep in mind that, yeah, it can differentiate a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same. The Appalachians also run through the Southeast region. The Southeast region is a low coastal plain along the Atlantic coast and the Gulf of Mexico coast. The Mississippi River flows through that region. So you'll be able to take a look. So we have the Appalachian Mountains. Here's the Northeast region. Here's the Southeast region. And here's that Atlantic coast that they were talking about. And you can see that the Appalachian Mountains run straight through both regions. And then it says that we are cut off by the Mississippi River, which flows right here. Here's the Mississippi River. And here's the Gulf of Mexico right here. The Midwest region is known for its broad, grassy plains, but also has forests and rolling hills. Major rivers such as the Missouri River and Ohio River flow through the Midwest. The land of the Southwest is very different from the land of the Midwest. Here, there are low coastal areas, dry plains, canyons, and deserts. A desert is a dry area that gets little rain. One of the region's best-known landforms is the Grand Canyon, formed by the Colorado River over millions of years ago, cut through the Colorado Plateau. A lot of these things should sound quite familiar because we talked about landforms in science already. The science is our nation's largest, most varied region. The West is the nation's largest, most varied region. There are forests, rich soils for farming, and a long coast. Its landform also includes plains and mountains. Both the nation's highest and lowest points are found in this region. Alaska's Mount McKinley, which is Denali, is the highest point, and Death Valley in California is the lowest point where people live. In each region, there are large cities where many people live and work. Our country's 3 largest cities are New York, New York, Los Angeles, California, and Chicago, Illinois. These cities have large populations and people often live close to each other. Each region also has areas where people live far apart than in cities. On the plains of Texas, some people raise their animals such as cows and sheep. They live far from their neighbor because they use a large area of land to grow grasses for their animals to eat. So here's a great chart that represents the different regions and how many millions of people live in there. So think about it. Look at that chart and tell me, see if you can think of which population is the smallest, which one's the largest, which one, how big is the population of the area in which we live in. All right, guys, see you later.